Yep.
Intro.
All right, hi everybody. My name's Gadget. I guess for introductions, so I can show what we know. I'm two tours to Iraq veteran, Marine Corps and Army. I'm a tank driver and an infantryman. And right now I'm working on my Texas Peace Officer license.
So I'm Chris Redfield, Red at the Stars. I'm currently a private security officer, level 3, and I'm also working on my Texas Peace Officer license.
Albert Wesker, Stars. Currently a private security officer, level 3 as well. Trying to get into college.
Yeager, I'm soon to be a stay-at-home dad for my first child. And just for y'all, everybody's information here, this panel is a two-part panel. We have our tactical safety and how to do tactical cosplay, and then we're going to have the second side more for con safety, things to look at now and keep aware of. If you guys have any questions, we ask that you keep them to our Q&A. So, how's everybody doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. How are you?
Did they say something?
I don't know, I didn't
I
hear it.
didn't hear it.
How are you doing this morning?
Pretty damn good.
We're doing good! Okay, that's...
I have a headache, but I'm good.
How are you?
You're a staff, so you're exempt from this. All right. Did you want to start, or do you want to start over here?
Yeah, roll with you guys.
Awesome.
Alright, well, we start with tactical first, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's basically tactical stuff. The main thing I've noticed at every convention I've been to 15 conventions all over the world, I've noticed people do not use proper weapon safety. I've noticed people do not properly hold weapons, barrel facing down, because again, barrel safety. That is an example of a weapon not to be used at a convention.
Actually, this one has been approved.
Well, for you.
Yeah,
But realistically, no.
It completely, it's full metal,
Almost.
almost full metal. Does not have an orange tip on
No.
it.
For safety of the panel and for the con, this does have an orange tip.
Oh, it does.
We put a barrel plug over it as well for the extra safety, and you can have it zip tied so it won't come off. The reason we say it's best not to bring full metal, because we do have SAPD officers here, and there will be officers at other cons. These can be mistaken for real ones. People have been killed because they bring real stuff out in public. We stress very much so, go with something that very obviously fake.
Yeah. Whether it's plastic, it's orange tip, heck, even if it's a Nerf gun that's all painted out, you know what I'm saying? That's fine. You do not want real weapon, because there have been, as a friend said, many shootings. There's also been many arrests because people bring realistic without orange tip. By federal law, you have to have an orange tip. If you do not have the orange tip, you go to prison. And you really don't want to go to prison. So, primarily weapon safety. Again, people don't hold the weapon. People like to roughhouse. People like to, show off, point barrels, especially lasers.
do not laze people.
Thank you.
Who knows what we mean by lasers? Even when you're doing pictures, we're trying to stress don't point the barrel at people, because people who may not know and understand what we're doing may think you're actually pointing at them. For those who've been around the military, you understand that term, and you most likely, okay, if I do it, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, flagging people is basically pointing a weapon at them. And the big thing is, like, you gotta think about it, especially in, I hate to bring it up, especially in recent times with a lot of stuff that's been going on in different places and stuff like that. Police officers are a much higher level of alertness. And not so much alertness, they are overly focused on potential aggressive acts. So, I mean, yeah, you're having fun, but they're not seeing, even with the orange tip, they're not seeing, okay, that's a kid having fun. They're like, okay, is that a threat? And unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where you're going to have to worry about officers shooting first, ask questions later. Because if you've got somebody, and he's like, we're all dressed up, and say, okay, somebody who has ill intent easily do the same thing. Now, I'm not saying any of us, we're here having a good time and enjoy our hobby, but you can have somebody that decides that, hey, I'm going to be bad, and one is going to be for everybody, but he can blend in too well. So, sit there and you see some guy, yeah. A police officer sees that, he's like, either he's going to start tasing him, or he's going to draw on you, but you're going to end up in zip cuffs, if you're lucky. So,
If you're lucky, without being tased first.
Taser.
But, stuff like that, and it's okay. Also, another thing, when you're doing certain outfits, military, law enforcement, especially if you have stuff that you look like, say SWAT, people are gonna think you're a cop. People think I'm a cop. And I'm from Resident Evil, I'm stars, People think I'm a cop. And it's like, no, especially when I don't have my vest on and I'm just in my shirt. People think I'm a cop. And they want to come up to me like, excuse me, officer, can you help me? It's like, I'm not a cop, okay? I'm sorry, I'm not. But I will help them because, again, it's a good attitude, But with that being said, people will ask you questions, people will make fun of you, people will say, oh, you strictly him. Oh, he's from Call of Duty. No, he's not, but okay, whatever.
I'll go to Call of Duty.
So on and so forth, So when you're doing that, it's fine. You're gonna have a lot of kids wanting to touch your weapons. Now, proper weapon safety, you don't let them. Now, if you want to pose with them and they put their hands on it, it's up to your discretion. But do not let them have it because I actually, again, saw this and kid had it. Guy did not disable his airsoft gun, took it and shot him right in the stomach.
Can I step in on this one also?
Yeah.
One of the reasons we ask that, especially if it's a little kid, we don't want them handling our props, is one, we don't know what their parents will think of it. If it's a kid and they're wanting to hold it, talk with the parent first. Being ready to become a parent myself, I'm going to take those extra steps to make sure my child is safe when at con. Do any of you guys have a family?
Yeah.
Okay, so you understand my point to this. You want to take that extra step to make sure you're safe and making sure anybody who's interacting with you is safe. All right?
well, I also want to touch on that. For me, about some of my background about T-close and weapon safety, it's also a good opportunity to teach kids a good thing of actual firearm safety. If you see one, don't touch it. Everybody remembers when they're younger, NRA's Eddie Egan. Stop, don't touch, get an adult. So, I'll set the comments a good way to just kind of encourage, safety for children, because if you think about it, from a realistic standpoint, a lot of accidental shootings are kids who see a gun and they think about video games, and they bam, and accidentally shoot their friend, which is a tragedy. But here we have an opportunity to say, if you see one, don't touch it. Talk to an adult, ask your parents, go get them.
Yeah. And being a security officer, being an armed security officer, I've actually had a kid try to go for my weapon thinking it was a toy. And I took him to the ground very hard, and his parents were freaking out. Why you hurt my child? Why is your child reaching for my weapon? You see me in uniform, you see me on duty, why are you trying to reach for my weapon?
Do we want to go over proper weapon safety?
Yeah.
John, want to?
Yep.
I'll be your dummy for this one.
Sweet. So I'm gonna pass it off to him, since he is one of the
All right.
guys.
Proper weapon safety, because I don't see you guys currently running most of your props. Do you have anything in the holster?
Got him in there.
Okay, well, that works. Close enough. One thing is for what we teach for proper weapon safety. If you're going to do a picture, a lot of people say, oh, well, why don't you have a mag in and make it look realistic? In my case, I bring airsoft mags because, one, it helps with our officers. They don't have to worry about, oh, does he have bullets in it? Because I can show them they're not going to. As well as, okay, we're doing a picture. You can see I put this in, but I'm making sure to keep my finger off the trigger, keeping my weapon aimed to the ground, and in this case, away from people. If say, oh, we want to make it look like you're pointing something, aim at a wall. Have the photographer against your wall, aim them right on him. Because, again, police officers see, okay, he's aiming into a crowd, is he a threat? And this can become very bad very quickly. Okay.
Now, also the other point of that is, if you want to think about it, there are 4 actual weapons, firearm safety rules. Treat every weapon as if they're loaded. Never put a weapon in anything you don't intend to shoot. Keep your finger straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire. So, as you were saying, talk about muzzle awareness and things like that. Even doing this and a tactical carry can set law enforcement into kind of an alert status. So it's like, as you see me while I'm carrying this sidearm. I have, I have my toy shotgun for some pictures, and then I have a little sub gun. When I'm intending to do my professional pictures, I got this, but most of the time, I'm not rocking it. Now, you guys in the Vietnam era, sling arms. Didn't get a 2-point sling, had a sling over your shoulder. That's a great way to carry. I mean, he's going to a more modern approach with it, where we adapted with the times and carry it a little ready. But having a sling over your shoulder is a lot better. It's like if you want to keep it with you, the other advantage is you keep your hands free, so you can go flying and stuff like that. But you still have your prop for when you want to do pictures with people. But once again, it's like the biggest thing that we can impress upon anybody is the muzzle safety. That's why we're repeating it so much. It's something that's been ingrained to us from our time in the service, and our life experiences. So we want to really impress upon that to people, because we want you to be safe. We want you to have a good time, and we don't want you to end up in the back of a squad car.
Or on the ground in public.
Yeah. Just like also, if you see anybody not doing proper weapon safety with that, like Deadpool characters and stuff like that, check them. Hey, don't be pointing at people. Do you know the proper way? So on and so forth. Get security. Do something so that people learn proper weapon safety. Because say for instance, someone does forget it's loaded, even if it's an airsoft gun. We've all done it. Well, besides him, we've all done it.
At one time or another, you would.
Whether you're a child or you're a teenager, you may even forget it's loaded, or you may even forget that there's one in there that you popped out the mag.
Got to check the barrel.
You forgot to check the barrel. And you're playing with it, and you're like, oh, and fire and hit someone in the eye. And they lose the eye. Well, it's your fault because you didn't properly check your weapon. So that again, you want to stress, always check, make sure it's empty, make sure it's not loaded. Even if it is, dry run it in your room. Dry run is basically dry fire when you make sure it's empty. Do that in your room.
Yesterday alone, I had to stop at least 12 people who were running in tactical cosplay and say, hey, you're lasering people, you're flagging, put your barrel down.
We're not trying to be pained, we're not trying to be drill instructors, but we want people to be safe. We don't want people to get tased or be in squad cars or, like what happened up in Vancouver, Canada, or 2 guys doing a battlefield cosplay got out of their vehicle, they were putting on their gear, and some crazy lady, even though it said convention, called the cops on her, and the SWAT team came out and put them on the ground.
I was getting plenty of looks just getting out of the car today. But having all my gear off at the time, I just put it in a chair and took care of it.
Rolled it, and you can do that too. You can put it in a chair, roll it in to, say, the lobby in front of a police officer, be like, hey, I'm gonna put my gear on, is that okay?
Oh, I took it straight over to prop check. Hey, I've got things that need to be checked. This way, SAPD is seeing this, they're checking it, and we're good to go.
Best way to do
That's the
it.
best way to do it.
Do you guys have an issue if I step in on disabling?
No.
All right.
You'll pick up on that.
Okay. I'm here today because airsoft props can, like this case, if you know how to do your work with tech, this could be made to work or not work. In this case, it was disabled for today. Anybody who's worked with airsoft props in the past, you learn how to disable your props. In my case, I have to pull a receiver pin. To take this off. For an airsoft prop like such, you have your outer barrel. But you also have to run an inner barrel, which will allow it to feed and subsequently be in use. One of the best ways to disable an airsoft prop is to pull that entire inner barrel setup out. Because, yeah, I can put a mag in, it ain't gonna do anything.
Such that he runs on the high end of propping and stuff like that. Me, I just tend to go to this.
The better side.
Walmart, $30. Filled barrel with silicone, pull the guts out of it. I can throw this against the wall, it shatters, I don't care. It's lighter than his, because his is true weight. But once again, you think about it from a cosplay aspect, it's lightweight, so it's not going to be as heavy, especially for those not used to carrying stuff like that. But it's not as expensive as well, so you don't want to fill the barrel. Because the big thing with con safety here is they want you to fill the barrel. So you fill the barrel, you basically render it permanently inoperable. So I prefer to do that from my point because it's cheaper. I can go buy, an M16 or whatever at Academy, relatively cheap, or and then just trade apart, or eBay. eBay is a great way to find stuff that doesn't work, so you're not paying top dollar. Basically, it's already rendered inoperable.
Yes. The second one. Can everybody see the pistol grip? Which is right here. The section right here. For most of the higher end models, this house has a motor, which in turn works the gearbox. Phase 2, take the entire bottom of this out, pull your motor. If I ever hook a battery up to this, it ain't gonna do crap. It's gonna go, you're funny. Literally.
Yeah. So that's one of a few ways to disable the firearms. Now, we did talk about rifles, shotguns, stuff like that. Pistols is the same way. With his, it can lock back. So he can actually probably take it apart very easily by pressing the simple switch.
No, this is gonna be a nightmare.
If you can hit it.
No, it's just gonna be. There it is. Come on, get it out of there.
Typically, when you deal with full metal airsoft pistols, they're relatively built the same way as what it's based off of. So disassembling them is typically the same as.
Yeah, and they can't be disassembled for the primary reason of because they work or they're specially made where they blow back and stuff. They got components in it to where you have to replace them, you have to fix them, and you have to clean them. With the spring backs, you really don't have to. Mine's a spring back. I can still take it off. I can still take my slide off and disable everything, and then put it back on. I still got that realistic effect. So,
Like mine, I'll keep you $20 at Walmart. You can pretty much tell because there's no way for any round to feed anything like that. But if you're doing a pose or whatever, it's fine. But the big thing is just having it in your holster, just keeping your holster, just once again practicing. Just because it's a prop doesn't matter. Treat it like the real thing.
yeah. And
Which is,
go ahead.
the other big thing that I cannot stress enough, if the prop checks aren't open, keep it concealed, keep it out of sight. This, I had sitting in a backpack along with my pistol until the prop said, hey, come on up, get yourself checked. And even then, with SAPD and the standard guide, they called ahead just to make sure this was okay for this panel. So there's so many of the zip ties on it, because I had it literally in 2 pieces.
Yeah, so you got to constantly check. And again, when you have leg holsters or any type of holsters on, don't let people come up behind you and grab your stuff.
That's why you see mine's double banded. So I gotta snap and go through over.
Make sure you do have it locked and not just sitting in there, because you do have the guys that do assassins, or the guys, again, they take that character too far and they want to grab your stuff. I've had that nearly happen. I've nearly flipped them over my shoulder onto the ground because that's just how I train. Don't let people touch your gear. Don't let people grab for your gear, okay? Because even if they grab your gear, they shoot someone. Whose gun is it? It's yours. Who let them take it? You did. So whose fault would it be? Yours. Not saying that it would be your fault, but it is your fault to the point where you're letting someone take a possibly dangerous weapon and hurting someone with it, So proper weapon safety, how to hold the weapon barrel face down is very important because, again, not a lot of people want to do it. Everyone that comes here dressed up in military stuff or tactical stuff, they do it for fun. They don't do it to realize, hey, I'm representing something, I'm representing not just myself, but every single tactical cosplayer out there, to where if I screw up,
It puts bad rap on all of us.
precisely, just like with him, with airsofting. One person at, say, one special airsoft field can get everybody banned because of what, especially if they're in a group, because that one person can screw up and throw a, M249 saw at somebody, or try to. I want to see it happen, and get
Then everybody's
everybody
in trouble.
banned.
But extending on that, this is my second year running this costume rig. Last year I didn't run a long gun at all. We did it for a picture and then we just like, it's too heavy, let's get out of the way. Going to the mall like this, we had a lot of international people from Mexico, stuff like that, just giving us the look. And
I get it all the time.
It's like my friend and I, we have a certain type of bearing, military and law enforcement, and people get out of our way, and it's great, that's fine. But you also want to, smile, say hello to people, stuff like that. San Japan has a really great reputation right now, and you want to help further that, because when you guys are out at the river walk, you should walk around, you're actually kind of ambassadors for San Japan. So, have that friendly attitude, stuff like that. Conduct yourselves in probably, in a professional manner is the best way to say it. I've had a couple of guys that I've seen who were actually military that were out, in their uniforms and wearing a Pikachu hat. And I had to go up and fix him. It's like, hey, when you're out in that uniform as military, you're representing the entire army to everybody. So it's cool you're a nerd and everything like that, but you're wearing a uniform, you're representing more than just yourself. And same thing with being out here as cosplayers for San Japan. You're ambassadors. You're going to be looked at, things like that. My second year, I was at Colonial Marine from Aliens, and I was coming back from the mall.
I remember that one.
I was walking through was it Luciano's or whatever, that nice restaurant on the right side.
Oh yeah.
I was walking past there, and this old couple stopped. I was like, what's going on? It's like, oh, it's a San Japan convention for a bunch of nerds to come together and have fun. But what are you? I'm a Colonial Marine from the movie Aliens. Why? It's something I wanted to do since I was a kid. It's a lot of fun for me. Can we take a picture of you? Sure.
You gotta eat my chest burster.
But
well, and with that, it really doesn't matter what you're cosplaying. You always have to know what it is you're cosplaying. So say, like, for me example, I'm a robot. So if I'm running around there, I'm supposed to be steampunk, and I have on this cute pink tutu. I've either one got to play it off as, well, it's part of my character. I love running around the river walking in a pink tutu. Or I just look really stupid. When people look at me, they're like, oh, that's the kind of nerd that comes to San Japan. Okay, steering clear of that. And next. So you don't want to give them that kind of opinion. So if you want to do Twilight Sparkle, or you want to do one of the guys from Aliens, or you want to do something from Call of Duty, it doesn't matter what you cosplay, you have to make sure that you represent it properly.
Does anybody know where the zombies are at? I'm going hunt later. Anybody want to join?
Yeah, just to touch up on the point where Noah's representing, if you're wearing military uniforms, again, you're representing, even though you're cosplaying, you're representing the military. Don't do anything stupid because it will apply on actual military. People will think you're actually military. They will come up and thank you for your service.
Also, if you're portraying the military, actual military will come up to you if you are acting stupid. And very
I did
much
that a couple
out.
of times. Like I said, when I was a Colonial Marine outfit, I had a kid out there in Pikachu, and I was like, hey, you're wearing a uniform. It's like I was wearing multicam, and I made sure that I had big Colonial Marine patches and stuff like that on, just to try to distance myself because I'm no longer active. But you have people, they see camouflage, or they see, things like last year, they thought I was a cop. People were asking if I was working security. So I walked around, it's like, and people asked for directions. It's like I was giving directions as best I could. But I was also not trying to portray this, hey, I am what I look like. Be friendly, be out there, but at the same time, don't forget that one, you're an ambassador to San Japan, things like that.
Yeah, very much so. And, to touch about, make another comment, I was at Dragon Con, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, and I caught this kid who was an Army specialist wearing a Sergeant Major of the Army rank, had Special Forces Commando Sniper Ranger tabs. He was wearing an Air Force PJ beret, and he had a Navy SEAL trident on his thing, upside down, saying that was an Army Special Forces type of medal, only the Army could win that. Well, I directed him to my friend, my father, a Master Gunnery Sergeant at the time, United States Marine Corps, 34 years, 24 deployments, and he cried. Yeah, next thing you know, that kid goes into the bathroom with my dad, comes out, and he has a hole in his uniform. And now he had to explain to his sergeant why his actual Army uniform had a hole in it.
Did he get back to his actual uniform?
Yes, he did not take off his name tape. He did not take off his U.S. Army. He still had his patches on.
Everything's Velcro.
Well, no, the uniform is transitioning back. But to touch up on you guys' point, one of the reasons I am not in camo is because we do have a lot of service members who are running around Military City, USA.
San Antonio, we have Lackland Air Force Base, Fort Sam Houston. Fridays,
Airman
weekend
Special.
is Airman Special. The weekends are graduating weekends every week.
Yeah.
You see the boys in blue walking around in their dress blues with their families.
One of the points I'm going to make, if you're going to dress up in camo, go Vietnam era, go to the older stuff that is no longer in service, because it helps present that I am not actual military. Oh yeah, I'm doing military cosplay, but I'm not here to be military. Because
Modern military.
people who have served are gonna come up to you. What unit are you with? They're gonna start asking you questions. When you start answering with just random stuff, they're gonna take one of two ways. Okay, either you're just out here to have fun, or okay, what are you trying to impersonate? And that creates a lot of trouble, and we'll get the cops involved very quickly.
Very much.
If you do find yourself in a situation where your cosplay is wearing something of modern camo, if someone comes up and asks you those questions, say, hey, I'm not military,
I'm on active duty.
I'm not active duty, flat out deny. I'm just doing a cosplay of Call of Duty.
Or a battlefield, or
Battlefield.
something like that.
Let them know you are not trying to offend anybody by what you're doing.
And if you're wearing modern stuff, don't wear rank.
No.
Yeah.
Older stuff, yeah, you probably can. Newer stuff, don't wear rank. You can have U.S. Marines, U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force. If you want, you can go Coast Guard. We will judge you in that. But
What?
nothing wrong with Coast Guard.
Check what?
Yeah, they're not. So, but
No, let's check our tip.
don't have name tapes. That's another thing you do. Don't have name tapes. If you're gonna have a name tape, U.S. Army, U.S. Marine, don't have that. So
Like
it's
Dash
either-
over here.
Yeah. I mean, my first year I was wearing the RCPD, but I decided to ditch that was the way I was wearing my rig. But, when you're wearing something modern, try to make it as different as you can from actual stuff, so you're not going to upset, actual military members, actual police officers, stuff like that. But once again, you're going to have people who've never seen a soldier. That's why, I was impressing on that one kid, he was wearing Pikachu hat. It's like, you're going to have people who've never seen a soldier. You represent them. So if you look like, a soldier, people are educated. You want to make sure that you portray yourself in a positive light. If you're thanked, thank you for your service, thank you, and then move on. Don't try to pull in accolades for something,
He'll hunt you down for it.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, you're ambassadors for not just, for St. Japan and anything else going on. So, once again, it's like just get yourself, proper things like that.
Okay, guys, I think we.
Yeah,
covered all of that.
We've beaten that horse to death.
Oh, we covered all of that.
Yeah, well, I think we covered
All right.
it.
Time to go to another
We're
one.
gonna pass this over to the second part of our panel, which is gonna be con safety from the standpoint of other types of cosplayers, not just us tacticals. Those who, like a lot of the women you see running around. I'm sorry guys, I know you guys will not be like, hey look, check her out. This is where hers is covering. It's gonna cover a lot of aspects, including that. Business?
All right. So my section is the layperson's terminology version of con safety. So the whole idea of cosplay is you're out there to have fun. You're out there to enjoy hanging out with other people who enjoy the same thing you do. Okay. So whenever you're out there, you're in costume. Say you're in full battle gear, and someone decides to go up behind you and go, "Hi! I love your cosplay."
No.
That is a very bad thing to do. You don't do that. So always ask permission whenever you're in the con. Ask permission whenever you're coming up to someone if you want to touch them or shake their hand or hug them or anything like that. There's no touching unless you have permission first. And if they don't give it, don't approach.
Because in Texas, there is a law. If unwanted touching, even if I just go like this, he does not want it. That is a sexual assault and
Even just
assault.
like, these are nice words.
Yes. If I don't want it, that's assault right there.
If
If it's charged.
If it's non-consent and that person decides they want to take it, the police will, will bring you up on, can bring you up on charges.
Especially if they're underage.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So that's why we always say, it's a very popular term, respect the bubble. I'm sitting here, I have my bubble, it's about, it's yay big. He's in my bubble right now, he's getting in my bubble, stop it. And you can say it, stop it, don't do that, back off. And they'll do it, if they don't, that's when you go get the cops or you get security.
They're getting their points across. Okay.
Hydration is another thing. It's Texas.
All right, you
It's
wanna
hot. This is San Antonio. Indiana. No, August. This is, oh God, this is August.
Yes, today's August 1st.
Oh, you're not used to this.
Yes, canteens,
In
definitely.
fact, quick thing, take a drink.
I am faulty.
Yeah.
I refilled my boiler before we started.
I had to remind some friends about that. My second con, the first time I ever cosplayed, thanks to my time being in the service, I had an idea of hydration. I was sitting there filling up my water bottle from the ice carriers in the panel room, and there's another guy next to me, and Indiana Jones, he looks like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that?
Oh,
And, figuring out how to incorporate, a pouch on your body to hold a water bottle is absolutely important.
and most of the time I have a water bottle of some kind on me. I was in
Like so.
rush today.
Camel packs. Military, camel packs. Easy to pull.
Canteens for you guys.
Canteens
I
for
mean,
y'all.
Especially because look at all the face paint she's wearing. She's going to be hot, especially with all that black she sees outside. You
I
gotta
know.
hydrate. You
I'm waiting
I've
for-
already had to repaint once because the heat was, I was sweating so much that some of the makeup was gone. So when you're out there and you're having a blast, you're not thinking about the heat, this is so much fun, we're having a great time, we're taking great pictures, and you're gonna forget.
And also,
Keep
if
it
you
with
see
you.
if you see someone, because yesterday we had EMS ambulances here because people were having
Yeah.
Heat
They had heat
incidents.
stroke.
Yeah, they're heat casualties.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, it's like, you want to think about this. When you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
yes.
So you want to be pushing water even before you're thirsty. And it's like, if you're not one of those people that doesn't like water, get some flavor packets. Put a Propel packet or something.
So you're like, what,
It's
50
like-
cents?
Yeah, well, it's like, this has got some strawberry Propel in it. And just, it helps, you want to be drinking it, and you also, a great idea, get one of these, measure it,
Mhm.
and then have a timer set up. It's like every couple hours, you want to drink so many ounces,
That's
especially if you're sweating up.
Yeah.
Because you want to stay hydrated, and becoming a heat casualty, headaches, those things are terrible.
As someone who's got a high metabolism all my life, I've always had to deal with dehydration, the worry of heat strokes, heat exhaustion, all of that. So,
Being scrawny toothpick.
yes, thank you. I'm hoping in the next couple of years that will change my body eventually. Right now, I kind of have to. But
It's okay, you have less to look around.
I also have less.
Hey, I'm not saying. Yeah, just Oh my God, the people! Say hi to the people!
Hey, more people.
All right, so my next part is battle buddies. I'm gonna need my girls up here for this one.
Ladies.
And I don't mean just my son. Oh, you brought my badge. Thank you. All right, so my next bet is battle buddies. So when you're at a con, no one wants to go alone, and no one ever should. Okay, there are instances at cons because people can be antisocial and don't know how to interact with humans, so things can go wrong. So the first one is always have a friend. These girls are practically inseparable. It is either those two or they pair up with us. We are always two or more. You never go alone.
Ever since last year, me and Chris, we're always together unless he needs
I mean,
to
what was,
go and do something.
what was one of the things that happened to y'all? Just at this con? You had that at a dance class. She had a guy, you go ahead and tell me story. I'm terrible at telling
He
stories.
just got a bit too close and was going against what the dance instructor was saying and was trying to hold me too close. And so automatically that sends out the line that that's a no. And if it hadn't been for her coming in, I don't know what could have happened. So,
He was grabbing her and
yeah.
kissing on her, and it was a no.
That goes
We
back
actually had-
to respect of all guys,
Yeah.
especially for guys.
Yeah.
Oh, girls too.
Girls
I
too, but
have a friend who does the Old Spice Man from the commercials. He loves playing that character, and he does it to a T. But he has told me some of the horror stories he's had of ladies coming up to him and grabbing his butt or grabbing his chest and going, "That's the finest piece I've seen all day." And it's just like, really, guys? Really, girls? Come on. It's basic etiquette. So stay in a group. Don't go off with people you don't know. You know, if you see a stranger and he's hitting on you, don't run off to a corner to talk with him. Go with some buddies. Go to a crowded place. You guys know this.
And touching on that, you know, there are situations where you find yourself, it's like, it's a panel that only you want to go to, things like that. And, you know, being separated from your friends and being alone can sometimes be unavoidable. The biggest thing, and from a safety perspective and, you know, self-protection, is situational awareness.
Yeah.
You know, if you're out there, you know, as the saying goes in the military, keep your head on a swivel. When you're walking around, you know, don't be doing this. I mean, you have a lot of people, they focus downward and everything like that. Up, you want to be scanning your areas. If you're walking, you're just looking around, you're looking at different things. You want to be paying attention and being aware of what's going on around you. Because, you know, I mean, I'm a guy, so it may not be a situation for me, but as young women, especially very attractive young women, you want to be aware of your, you know, aware of your surroundings. So if you can see a guy, and it's like he gives you a bad vibe, you want to be, okay, maybe I should go this way where it's better lighted, and there's a lot more people around instead of taking that darker route to the food court and the mall.
for me, I can't necessarily speak for others, but just with how I was raised as a military brat, 4 years ROTC, private security, that 20 years maybe NP or MA. I've always got my head. I don't like anybody behind me.
Yeah.
I don't.
I always have my head on the swivel. There is no way.
I seriously need to get a
Remember-
sign that says, "Do not stand behind me. You are liable to get hit."
There was-
You can ask.
Keep back 200 feet. Debris may fly.
There was actually this one guy, what was it, last night? He was playing one of the assassins from Assassin's Creed. I can't remember which one. I was a fan of the series. Huh? I know, right? There's like 300 of them out there.
Those
But he
people,
came up
you
behind
see
me,
the movie.
and I just about clocked it. Except for the fact that I knew he was there beforehand. And so I stiffened and I stayed as still as possible because I knew what he was going to do. You know, take the fake blade, ha, you're dead, whatever. He was very upset because I did not react. And he went and sulked in a corner.
That's the best way to kill their fun.
Just go, really?
And just walk off.
Or on touching on that point, if you see it beforehand, don't. Just,
That's another really good one to do,
you know,
yeah.
just basically emphatically point out, it's like, you do not consent to their, you know, to their play. And, you know, respect the bubble, just, no. It's not like that. And if they ignore that, that's when you point, it's like, okay, you go, you find a security officer, something like that, say, hey, you know, good thing, try to get the name on their badge. You're like, that guy.
There's a reason they have names on the front of these things. It's so that you can recognize them whether they're in this costume or not. Because yesterday, y'all could have recognized me. But now, I'm a completely different person. There's no way. But I have my Spooky the Jedi on my badge. So yes, you'll recognize me.
I do multiple cosplays. Wesker is my predominant one, but I also have a Mandalorian cosplay. She didn't recognize me yesterday, and she said that was unfair. By the way, she said it was unfair that I changed cosplays, but she didn't recognize me and Chris because we were in our Mandalorians. Granted, I had my helmet off and everything. She didn't recognize me because
And
the
that
cosplay
was no
changed.
face paint or anything. That was just close.
Just a change in normal outfit.
Another thing that I want to point out too is if you see someone that does not have a name on their badge, let a staff member know because they need to have names on their badges.
Absolutely. If they don't have a name on their badge, it is actually not a legal badge. There is always a name on the badge.
Yeah, the 3-day badge.
The 3-day badges don't?
Yeah, 3-day
Well, that's different from last year.
Only
Okay.
the pre-registered ones.
When you pick up the lanyard, there's permanent markers there that you're supposed to write your name.
Yeah.
They don't tell me that.
They don't say anything.
Well, they should.
but-
They really should, I guess, because.
After this panel, you might want to walk.
You might want to do that. Thank you for letting us know because we
Yeah.
know nothing about it.
Hey, we got a Sharpie back here.
Where's the panel?
Exactly.
Permanent markers. They don't have one that they-
Alright, just make sure I get my shirt.
Do they have a blank area on the?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right on the bottom below, there's.
Sharpie made on that
Even on the
Yes,
back
they
of.
did have a
even-
version of Sharpie in the Vietnam War.
Yes! Oh,
It was called chalk,
I did that.
and then you put glue over it.
Now,
Actually, yes.
now,
I'm a historian, this is what I do.
and getting back on track.
Yes!
Getting back on track with that.
Okay.
Getting back on track with that. If you see something, it's like, okay, you see a guy and he's giving you a bad vibe and he's watching, a young woman or vice versa, things like that. Keep an eye out. Remember, it's like, we're all ambassadors for San Japan. So if you see something that looks like it's going to go hinky, you want to, keep an eye on it and let somebody know. It's like, hey, or,
Or step in yourself.
yeah, don't necessarily insert yourself into a bad situation, but, try to look out for your fellow congoers.
Yeah.
There, Chris told me a couple cons ago, there was and it looks real bad on the fandom, but a furry cosplayer.
2.
2 furry cosplayers. That, for lack of a better term, were predators. They were searching to do bad things to people. Luckily, congoers reported them.
Good.
And they've actually been banned from IkiCon. I think they're banned from here in San Japan.
Yeah, they are. I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
But basically what they did was they actually kind of drugged a 14-year-old girl and took her to the room, and they did stuff to her in their room. And when she got able to notify law enforcement, they could not help her because she didn't know what they looked like, she didn't know where they were at, what room they were in, and what their names were, because they completely changed. And again, she was also drugged at the same time. So,
And that touches on, having the battle buddy and being aware of your situations. I mean, these are a lot of things. It's like, they teach at college campuses and stuff like that.
I'd actually like to interject something here with the whole drugging thing. Con water.
We actually had that back here.
Okay, yes.
Spiking is definitely a thing.
Akon, Dallas.
Don't get me
DPD
started.
was all over Akon because of people having narcotics in their bag. Weed, ecstasy, coke, meth,
Speed.
you name it, it was there. There were people, literally groups, huddled around the little water containers and literally pulling off the jugs, spiking it, and putting it back just to do it. Just to get people who drink the con water messed up.
Don't trust con water.
Exactly.
I mean, cons are fantastic. The people who put them together are wonderful, and they mean good. But the people who come sometimes are crazy.
Say you again? I haven't heard any. Aren't we all? We're all just acceptance and.
Not the kind that
embrace
spikes
it.
people's water. That's
But
bad.
me and Chris, we bring a case of water and have our own bottled water. We will get water out of a fountain before we get it from the water coolers. Just because we don't want to take that chance. I haven't heard of any situations here at San Japan. Thank God.
Japan has so far been a very safe con, and I'm very happy for that. But that's because they are listed as a PG-13 con. During the day, it's PG-13. It ain't until the sun goes down.
That the 18 plus.
When all the weirdos come out.
Yeah.
And once again, going with that.
Hey.
If you see something that's out of place, mention it. I mean, this this goes with law enforcement, with military, being on college campus. If you see something that doesn't feel right, report it. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, it's a duck.
And
If it looks wrong,
Something's wrong.
say
And-
something, or at least bring it to the
Yeah.
attention. If it turns out that it's just a misconception or misunderstanding, security will figure it out. They will apologize, say sorry, it was just a concern, and it will be rectified of the misunderstanding.
Better safe than sorry.
I'd much rather have someone come up to me and say, you're doing this wrong, I would be, thank you for correcting my actions, I will make sure I do not do that again.
Proactive.
I thank people who come up to me and say, you're being unsafe, and correcting. I thank them.
Which, on that note, if you see someone hitting on an underage individual, whether it be male or female,
Report it.
immediately.
Yes, that is a thing. A lot of people
I've
hook
seen
up
that
at
several
Well,
cons.
that gets a little difficult because
Yes, especially nowadays.
I
Yes.
don't want to be offensive or anything,
No.
but the way people dress can be thrown off. So
Very true.
be very, be friendly, but it's like, let's find out beforehand. Hi, how old are you?
Yes.
Exactly.
For those who are above the age of 18, I understand people come to cons and they hook up at cons. Make sure you find out the person's age, unless it is
Oh, please
blatant
ask.
obvious. Blatant obvious.
And it's not. A lot of times at cons, a 15-year-old will look 30 because of the character they're playing, and a 30-year-old will look like a 12-year-old because somehow they managed to
Lolitas.
keep their body like that. Lolitas, thank you.
Always be careful of a Lolita, no matter
You
what
don't
it is.
know how old they are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, be friendly or anything like that. And, this is a con where everybody expresses their hobby. So, you don't want to be to somebody because they're different from you. That's not anything about St. Japan. It's all inclusive. Everybody has their thing. And this is a place to enjoy your hobby amongst people who share a passion. So, be friendly with each other, be safe with each other. And, if you find somebody and you hit it off, that's a great thing. But at the same time, it's like you want everything to be, you want everything to go great.
Make sure
And
it's
you want San Japan to keep the reputation it has here. It is a wonderful con, and this is my 4th year. I've had such a blast. This is even a commitment for me, even though I drive down the road from Dallas.
Thank you.
And, it goes back to what I said earlier, you're all ambassadors for this con. And, you've got people that are coming first time. You want them to have a good time too, and you want them to come back. And because I had such a blast the first time, I've been coming back every year. And the con's been growing. So you want to be safe, you want to have fun, and you want to make sure that everyone has a good time and is safe and comfortable.
So with that being said, don't judge people.
Yes.
There are some people out there, a lot of people, I cosplay mostly steampunk. Why? Because it fits who I am. It fits.
Because you have a screw loose.
I wasn't gonna say about being nice. We're missing the back of the neck, but I wasn't gonna say that act like you can. But since you asked, we'll do that later. Oh, thank you. All right.
See?
So don't judge. There are some people who don't have the money to go all out on a costume. Then again, there are people who have spent thousands of dollars on their costumes, handmade it, done all this stuff for it. I give kudos to people who can and who can afford that, but not everyone
More power
can.
to them.
This is a closet cosplay. I paid, what, $10 for all the makeup?
I choose that. It's both my duty gear.
That is cheating.
This is an investment, it's only gonna go up in price.
My pants My uniform pants for work. Shirt came from Chris. Vest, Chris. Everything that I have was bought. I could not enter a cosplay contest with this.
They're good.
Yeah.
Cosplay for beginners.
I've been doing this for years.
Don't talk about you, talk about him.
Okay.
Yes, this is cosplay for beginners right here. This is a perfect example for cosplay for beginners.
Which reminds me, my next point, it is sexy. We've already kind of touched on this, the whole idea of objectification of either gender. Just because they show it doesn't mean you can touch it. Just because a guy has his shirt off doesn't, hey, I don't even have my shirt off. Hands to yourself.
Put him on standby.
In the corner.
Thank you. It just feels mean.
It's always on the back of the neck.
Alright, so if a girl, okay, there's one assassin, a couple of assassins running around, and they have the sexiest assassin cosplays on the market right now, and it's amazing. Okay. But they are no touch. There's one that is actually carrying a sign that says don't touch. That's actually a great idea. If you don't want people to touch, tell them. You know, again, the whole respect the whole thing, I cannot stress enough how serious the whole respect involved. Keep your distance. You can say, that is a wonderful cosplay, you pulled it off really well. Don't say, that makes your butt awesome.
No, because that is verbal sexual harassment if they do not want it.
Quick way to get your face slapped.
Well,
That too. And you know, good luck trying to say that she assaulted you, because that's.
well, you know, if you touch her first, from a legal standpoint, you know, somebody gives you a illicit touch, you stop them back, that's self-defense right there.
Yes.
That was unwanted assault. I'm talking about this from a legal, you know, law enforcement standpoint.
And even a verbal comment like that, a slap is considered self-defense. It is considered verbal assault and verbal sexual assault when it's a comment like.
You'll get off lucky if you get off with a slap when you do that. If you do that within swinging range of a woman, they will hit you. They hit you hard. I have done that before. No. I have done that before. I've had people do things like that. I've had people grab me. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy the more hurrying up cosplays. Some people don't, some people do. Your own choice. But that's a definite consideration on either end.
And it goes for girls too. It goes for girls too.
Absolutely.
Like I've seen the gentleman she's talking about that does the Old Spice commercial. I've seen it.
Awesome.
He does a very good job at it. Sadly, it got kicked out of Wonderland Mall.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a shirt on.
Oh.
But guys and girls alike, don't touch. If you're going to give a compliment, say, hey, you look good in that. That's a compliment.
Yeah.
Hey, they're sexy, and hey, that's a great looking, you know, like, whatever. That's
Insert thing.
that goes beyond
Yeah, no,
compliment and
that's-
goes into, you know, the same thing is that is an awesome costume. You
You
know,
must have worked
Simple
really
as that.
hard to do that.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Compliment. I would greatly appreciate someone who came up and said that to me.
Yeah.
I
And
mean-
I do with a lot of, like, it's, okay, back to the little tactical thing. I saw a couple of people from Call of Duty and they looked amazing. And I started talking to them and the guy had actually lost 80 pounds in order to get the military-esque figure that was required. And I gave him so many kudos for that. He was gonna do, he had to go back. But he did really good, and I've seen a lot of people like that. Cosplay is one of those things where if you are really determined, you will do whatever it takes to get into that cosplay that you really, really want to do. And maybe you don't quite fit the comic book standard.
That's why the term OC, original character.
Or Rule 63. For, like the gentleman I saw yesterday cosplaying is Misty. He even learned how to walk in heels to do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He knocked it out of the ballpark.
But hey, it's his choice.
Yeah.
Respect it.
Yeah,
And he did a good job. He had the voice. That was the creepy thing, because he had the voice. I was like, wow, you're a really good singer.
You're a dude?
Whoa.
And touching on that, last year I had a friend over to a con. He came in, and I know this guy, and I know he's kind. He can be kind of an insensitive jerk. He walked into he walked into the food court, and I saw some people cosplaying. I was like, not a word. You are not allowed to speak. Nothing.
Respect crossbows, Jeff.
Yeah, this is a hobby, and you want everyone to love it. And I'm repeating myself on this because it's important. But I looked at him and was like, you are not allowed to speak. Do not say a word. Keep your mouth shut.
It goes back to the whole don't judge. Just because you're a complete 10 and you spent all the money on your costume and he didn't, doesn't mean you get to say, that sucks.
Cosplay's for everyone.
Exactly.
Gentleman yesterday in his TIE fighter.
Yes.
He converted his wheelchair into a TIE fighter.
I thought that was amazing.
Oh yeah.
People who do that, who take their disability and make something of it, I'm like, dude, that is awesome.
Comic Palooza. Not this year, but last year, there was a girl whose father made her wheelchair into a Dalek. Not only did
I
she
saw that. I've
completely
seen
rock
that.
it, she completely rocked it, and she wound up winning the Dalek races at Comic Palooza and going home with the prize. And she was getting congratulated all weekend. It was completely legit.
Yes.
And think about how people who work hard in cosplay, maybe I'm kind of cheated, but I mean, that's, think about the work that goes into the face paint on everything. It's
I got up at
beautiful.
5 a.m. and we left the house as we finished our makeup at 9 o'clock.
9:05.
But you want if you see something, a compliment is like that is gorgeous, that is awesome, say those are safe compliments instead of wow, that's weird or whatever.
I've even seen cosplayers.
Did you make that yourself?
Yes.
Is it
I've asked
great?
them, did you make that yourself? How did you do it? Because I want to be, one of my dreams in life is to have a cosplay store. I want to know everything I can to make cosplays. So when I see a really well done cosplay, I ask them, did you do it yourself? And if so, how? How did you do this? How did you make this?
And a lot of times they will tell you in depth how they did it, so that when you want to, you can say, I gotta do this too. And this is how he did it, and I can do it now.
My very first con, there's a guy in a Starship Troopers outfit.
Oh.
And I have that picture on my phone to this day. And I walked up to him and was like, that is so epic. How did you do it and everything like that? And he helped me. He told me about some great people to find and everything like that. So the very next year, I got to fulfill a dream I've had since I was 13 years old. I got to be a Colonial Marine. And it's all thanks to that guy I met my first con, and I talked to him, and he helped me out.
Yeah.
So,
Kudos to him.
thanks to him. I'm in this because it's a little cooler, but he helped me get into cosplay because he was he was such an awesome person. He was an ambassador, for this hobby. And
Just yesterday, standing in line for the Team 4-star, me and Kid and Beth got to talking to us, asked him if he did any cosplays. He's like, no, I used to do home stuff, but got out of that. I was like, any fans that you're particularly a fan of? He said Kamen Rider. I was like, okay. I showed him Aniki cosplay. Aniki makes Kamen Rider and Power Ranger cosplay. I showed him the website to where he can get started. I help. If someone's got a cosplay and I know who or how, I will direct them to do something, where they can get something. I've directed people to where I've gotten masks for some of my other cosplays, airsoft guns, ideas on how like PVC piping and foam boards for LARP.
This is actually how I got started with leather work. I actually do leather armor now, and I got started because I went to a con and there was a guy there in a steampunk full arm hand tooled leather electricity blaster, is what he called it. And it was, he had carved it and tooled it, and it looked epic. And I was just like, dude, I need to know how to do that. Yes.
Was it ASI?
No, I don't think it was.
Oh, okay.
No.
They're famous for theirs.
Yeah, I know. I want to go and pick their brains so bad.
Cedric, if you see him anywhere, he will talk to you.
Oh, thank you. I'll definitely try and find it. Because that got me into leatherwork, and now I'm actually working on an Assassin's Creed cosplay. I'm hand tooling all the leather. Should be done by Nikki Khan.
Yeah, for my next I'm making a full leather costume.
Dang.
Yeah.
You need help with that. Let me know.
Yes. Greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Oh, but getting back on the track and everything, it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I love some rabbit trails.
staying healthy is like, don't forget to eat, drink, especially in some rider outfits and things like that.
Yeah,
You know,
If you got it, take a drink.
there's no water on them, hydrate.
Drink water.
But, you know, there's a great touch. She's put up medications. It's like, I take medication, I have to remind myself, I set timers on my alarms or anything like that to do it.
If you have an inhaler, make sure you keep that on you no matter what.
I have one in my bag.
Medications, inhalers, whatever the case may be, you keep them on you at all times.
No. A lot of people, it's like you wear a pouch and stuff like that. Make sure it's like, hey, you've got to incorporate your pouch. Figure out a way to have stuff and keep the things that you need important to you.
We actually carry a first aid kit with us. We actually have it in one of our bags, always. Because you never know when someone's going to fall down the escalator or someone's going to get bowled over in the dealer's room. The dealer's room gets crazy.
Speaking of escalators, like yesterday.
Huh?
Yesterday we
It's
had.
busier than yesterday.
Yesterday when we were coming down, after checking the room, we
Oh,
were coming
yeah,
downstairs and we had an escalator sign. Some people who don't see depth perception very well, going down those kinds of stairs can be a bit of a problem, which comes back to having the battle buddies. If you got somebody with you, say, hey, I'm having some issues coming down here, can I keep a hand on your shoulder and keep my balance? And luckily for us doing that, she ended up tripping and I was really right there to stop her.
Had he not been there, I probably would have wound up tumbling down the stairs and over his stairs.
Seriously,
Metal stairs, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, the whole keeping stuff with you, keeping battle buddies is a big thing. Also, I've seen a lot of service dogs, not just for PTSD. I said PTSD because my brother has PTSD, and he doesn't go to cons because of that.
yes, I know.
Okay, because people don't respect it.
I can touch on this. I actually have a PTSD service dog. This is one of the few places I feel safe, I feel comfortable, and I can operate without him. That and the fact that there's really no place for him, so it's not fair to him because there's no place for him to go to the bathroom. And just the number of people, it makes him uncomfortable with my dad while I'm at this con. But like I said, this is one of the few places I take care of. So if you see a service dog, don't touch him. I mean, now mine, I don't mind
I've actually
people.
seen a lot of service dogs here this year.
I'm not sure happy about that, but if I have him with me, I like people to talk to me. I like people to interact with him. He's very friendly. And it's a huge icebreaker for me because it makes me feel more comfortable. If he decides he likes a person, then I can feel comfortable talking to him. But if you see somebody with a service dog, talk to the handler first.
Always
Ask
that-
permission.
Yeah,
I can easily dress up his dog as a Cerberus.
I mean, I can
That
easily.
would be cool.
Well, I mean, I would do that, but I mean, I'm a canine handler, so I have him, and he has his, he has his vest and stuff like that. And I could rock him as a police dog with this if I wanted
That
to.
would
Even better.
And that's what I did when I worked at BTSA. He was a drug dog. But,
Can I just step in on this one? Most service animals are now having signs somewhere on their vest that's saying, do not pet me unless you have permission.
Yes.
I know some people, service animals, will actually try and bite you. I saw one yesterday. He had a warning label on there saying, my dog will bite you if I have not given you the okay.
I have a friend that has a service dog that has been trained, because she does martial arts, and the dog has been trained where if someone is coming up to her outside of that dojo, he goes on the complete defensive. I'm talking teeth bared, hackles raised, the whole 9 yards, and if they come within 6 feet of the person, of the girl, he will jump at them and bite them. Because,
And that's probably more of a defense for you, because someone who's proficient in martial arts tend to have it as muscle memory and reacts instantly and will hurt you. And after so many years of training, they have to register as a lethal weapon.
yep,
But,
not in the state of Texas, thank heavens.
but
Not yet.
the whole thing with, with service dogs is there are numerous reasons to have them. Yeah, PTSD, TBI, epilepsy, diabetics. The thing is, they have a job and a function. So, think about a blind seeing eye dog. That dog is that person's eyes. You don't
They're
want
on
to be
the
distracted.
job, they're working.
Yeah, you don't want to be distracted from the dog. My dog, when the vest comes off, he's an old dog. And when the vest is on, he is a bit more, a bit more focused. But once again, for me, as a personal choice, I don't mind people interacting with them. But that's my decision, not the handler's. So if you see a dog and something that person's cosplaying is really awesome, slowly make sure you're coming in from the front so the dog can see you. You can't startle that person, startle the dog or the person. So you want to give them not so much a white bird that they feel like they're being ostracized, but at the same time you want to respect that bump.
Yeah. The other points that we have are know where your medics are. So say someone gets really seriously hurt. No, I don't mean a screwdriver or a wrench, whatever that is. I mean the actual medics. Where are your first responders in the con? Every con has them.
If you can't find one, find a police officer.
Exactly. And no fighting. It may be fun and cool. I was a Jedi yesterday. I wanted to fight so bad. I had to go outside. Sure, we can say, oh, done. But any more than that, you have to take it outside. And try to avoid it if possible. Because con safety and the police officers will get onto it. I've been gotten onto it before.
Even outside, because
Yeah.
now you're in public space. A lot of people, especially the cons, are walking through.
There are some places that have designated combat arenas,
We have a
little
combat
skate
area in the
areas
back of the
where,
artist alley.
yes.
And we have a panel today, later on today, specifically for Star Wars duels. There's actually been stuff taken care of that permits it. Otherwise, no fight.
That's what we throw on the ground doing that.
Yeah. And I with the company, going back to the tactical stuff, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you want to go out there and just do a photo shoot where you're doing combat, don't do it. As much as you want to, as cool as it is, and as fun as it sounds, and it really is, don't be out there doing this with friends in public area. It's going to scare people, and going back to what we talked about earlier, you're going to get tased and zip cuffed in the back of the squad car.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, you may not get shot.
Justin.
And so now that we've covered all of our points and we're coming down to like the last 10 minutes, let's go ahead and do some Q&A. Does anyone have any questions?
Anybody?
Anything? Yes.
This is my first time here, and I don't understand, what is this?
I was gonna say, switch mic.
69?
Oh, Rule 63?
Yes.
Rule 63 is what they call a gender bend. Like we pointed out earlier. You'll see guys that come from women and vice versa. I see those as a point of something different. We're in an age where everybody's trying to learn acceptance. How better than to do it at cons? You're going to see all sorts of stuff. I mean, how many different female con pages did I see yesterday? Is it permanent?
Well,
Yeah.
like it goes back to the story about my friends, going into the food court and seeing the guy dressed up as Misty. It's like, okay, hey, that's your thing, go for it. My friend, do not say a word. Keep your mouth shut. Don't talk. Because I know him, this is his first time. The thing is, it's like where we are, we're here to enjoy a hobby that we love. And the idea is, like I said, the reason I don't have my dog with me right now is because I feel safe here. I feel comfortable being amongst people that have a passion for something that I share. And I feel safe here. And we want everyone to have that feeling. So, acceptance and just encouragement of everybody's passion is an important thing here. That's That's what that's what this panel's about, is being safe, taking care of yourself, taking care of other congos, and being an ambassador for San Japan to San Antonio.
Your representatives go and represent.
With the force.
I was gonna say Blue Matter, but okay.
Any more questions?
None?
I'm seeing some puzzle looks.
Any questions on the tactical part? Any questions on con safety? Any questions at all?
Do you have to plug the barrel into the weapon?
Absolutely. It is posted up. Rule number 3 on the safety board at prop check. Weapons, barrels have to be plugged. Now, when I was doing my Colonial Marine outfit with my M41, I ran out of time to finish my resin one, so I bought an airsoft model. I took an orange bottle cap and I glued it over the muzzle. Now, if I wanted to use it as an airsoft gun again, it's going to take some work to break it off or anything like that. But San Japan's rules are plugged barrels, and airsoft guns have to be permanently deactivated.
Like in this case, this model, I didn't have time to plug the barrel. So when I did the safety check, I made sure I had the orange tip on. I put this barrel plug on there. And before we even started this panel, I got an extra zip tie to make sure that this plug stays
And it
on.
still goes to, that is what not to bring, because it doesn't have the right orange tip, like this one. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the panel, is you can go the high end or you can go the cheap end. And I recommend the cheap end, 20, 30 bucks at Wally World, fill the barrel with silicone, pull the guts out of it. Okay, I've got a cheap toy that, is good for my pictures and good for my cosplay, but at the same time, if it gets broken or whatever, I don't care. It's easy to replace, it's not a significant investment. At the same time though, it's like earlier, it's like when you have something like this, muzzle safety, treat it like a real firearm, don't point at anybody, because it's good. A quick way to get taken away, it's a quick way to end up in the back of a squad car, if you're lucky. Especially, we talk about in the beginning, the police, with everything that's been going on tragically around the country, the police are in a high state of alert. So when you're out there, muzzle down, or if you're carrying something long, sling shoulder. If it's a firearm, but even if it's a foam sword, things like that, treat it like it's real. Don't go waving it around. And if you're going to the food court or something, take it back to your hotel room or find a buddy that's staying around the con and keep it with, and have them hold on to it if you want. You go get food.
Especially with firearm props, because
Yes.
I have heard of people, they don't have a buddy to work with, so they have to bring it with them. Like in my case today, because I've got a tactical going on, I'm actually going to stay behind, let everybody who's with me go, and they'll bring something back, because I don't want to take it out of the con hall and over into public space. Fastest way to get SWAT team showing up.
Yes. What are the rules for River Center Mall? States, no prop weapons whatsoever. You will get kicked out.
I actually came up against that yesterday because I was a Jedi. I had my lightsaber with me, and I had a security guy come up to me at one point, and the only reason I was able to get away with it is because at that very minute there was a kid that decided to come up and say, "I want to be a Jedi too. Teach me to be a Jedi." And I was like, "Oh," and so the security guard kind of backed up.
Sometimes security will be a little lax.
Don't bank on it though.
Yes. Rather be safe than sorry.
Right now, the fact that we can even just go to the food court at the mall in costume is a privilege.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, as ambassadors for San Japan, don't abuse that privilege, because you got to think about not only yourself but all the people that can come after you.
Yeah.
So when you're out in food court and you're walking around the mall, things like that, conduct yourselves in a nice way. Be safe, but if people come up to you, be friendly with them, tell them about, they ask questions, things like that. But at the same time, it's like if it starts getting weird for you, take yourself out of the situation. It's not fair. You shouldn't have to feel uncomfortable and go and take yourself out. But at the same time, it's the best way to diffuse the situation. It's potential. And it also helps, like we talked earlier, having a battle buddy. Never go anywhere alone. And even if it's unavoidable, be aware of your surroundings. Protect yourself. And if you see something else that's going hinky, that if it looks wrong and feels wrong, it possibly is wrong. wrong,
Yeah.
go find a police officer or security and let them sort the situation out.
To touch upon that, it's one of those, put yourself in that person's shoes. If you feel very uncomfortable, then obviously they're going to be uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so.
Yes?
I'm not buddy close, but I'm a buddy, but I'm a small word person for doing that. I can put myself.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like, okay, we're taught from law enforcement and military standpoint, it's what's called keeping your head on swivel. You want situational awareness. Like, yeah, if you have a friend and you're going to a panel and they're not going to that same panel, say that's fine. But if you're going to like a public space or anything like that, you want to be aware of your situation. You know, a lot of people when they're walking, they walk with their heads down, and they're not, you know, they're just focused on the path. When you're walking around, look around. You know, and it's a little easier to do because you're just going to see people in costume and things like that. But you want to be aware of your surroundings. And if you see somebody that maybe just gives you that vibe, okay, and the only way you can see that is if you're looking around. So if you're, you know, if you see me walking around, even when I'm just doing normal things, I check back sometimes. I'm looking back and keep, do that. Train yourself to look around. And this is something that is taught at colleges, especially for women, to protect themselves. Look behind, keep a check behind you. And if you see somebody or that it just doesn't feel right, stick to a limited area. Stick around a large number of people. You're safer in numbers, and that's something that you should always take to heart. So, did that answer your question?
Also, you're here to make friends. Be friendly. A lot of times people that you meet here, if they're nice, they'll wind up being buddies. I have a friend that I meet up with at every day in Japan. And we run a steampunk ship together. And it's a lot of fun, and it provides safety for us because we're two girls. We're walking out there, and we do the late panels, so a lot of times we're out there at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, walking down 10 blocks to our car, going, are we okay? Are we safe? There's trucks out there. This is the weekend. But if you can get yourself a buddy, if you can find some friends that you have some common interests with, hang out with them. Go to some panels together. You know? It's great to be on your own, but it's even funner.
Yes, funner.
More fun with friends. So go out there, guys. Enjoy the con. Have fun. No. Have fun. Thank you so much for coming over.
And for those light arrivals, if you have questions or just want to talk, I'm going to show up in the lobby. We're just going to, shoot the breeze and talk. If you have any other questions or just want to talk and get a feel for it, law enforcement, military, private security, we all have a lot of experience and knowledge, from a safety standpoint. So feel free if you see us around, ask questions.
Absolutely, guys.
The best way I could say it is evil thrives when good men stand by and do nothing.
Exactly.
And that translates to basically, if you need information is power. Information is ammunition. So you want to know something, ask us.
Anybody any other questions you want to worry about? Take care of?
Yeah.
Everything's good? We all ready to go and have some fun? All right.
We've got some flyers passing.